Yes, and welcome back to Minnesota Sports Alive. We have a special guest. We had to bring him back on just because, it's Vikings Bears week. He's feeling good about the victory this past Sunday with those darn Giants and Bears and Caleb Williams doing awesome things and whatnot, which is not great for us. But yeah, it's Mitch is feeling
I'm a
himself
little
a little
chilly,
bit.
Matt. I'm a little,
Yeah,
I'm a little chilly
a little
because you know
chilly.
why?
It was cold out
Caleb
there.
Williams got ice in his veins. He's got his ice in his veins.
Ice in his
That's
veins.
why.
Yeah, well, we'll
Ew.
see what happens
Yeah,
come
because
with you a spank. Well, we'll see. I mean, if he can do it against these bad teams, let's see him do it against a halfway decent team. That being the Minnesota Vikings, we shall see. We'll get into that in a second. Mitch, welcome back as
I will say
always.
we beat Washington with Jake Daniels.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
We beat
That's
Jake
true.
Daniels, so I'll say that much.
Fair enough. All right, so let's get your thoughts on the Bears just for kind of the whole season. And what are your thoughts so far? 6-3. Caleb's playing a lot better. Offense looks pretty doggone good. Defense has been making some plays too. What are your thoughts on your Bears, Mitch? What do you got?
Um, Overall good. I mean, it's kind of what I expected. Rocky start. New head coach trying to figure out what he's got in quarterback and where he can marriage his offensive schemes with the talent that's in Chicago. So, and I think at this point, halfway through the season, I think Ben Johnson has finally hit out the stride for the Bears and being able to do his offensive guru stuff. So I'm loving how we've looked so far this year. I mean, like I said, season was a rough start. Dropped a tough one against the Vikes week one. We have to take advantage of JJ McCarthy playing bad for 3 quarters. We can't let him do to us what we've been doing to other teams the past couple weeks. So that was a bad, tough loss. And then we go in and get
hmm
just curb stomped by Detroit, which now doesn't look too bad just because they're curb stomping everybody. So
Well,
yeah,
not our Vikings. Even though we lost this past week.
that's true.
That's,
That's true.
that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, we
neither
did,
here
we
nor
did,
there.
yeah.
Um, I got a video after that Vikings Bears game that your friend Nick Dahlhoff sent to me, and you just shaking your head. And you thought, here we go again, another season of turmoil and just disappointment. So, my question to you is how would you assess so far what Ben Johnson has done? Kind of more specifically, differently with the offense and whatnot. So what are your thoughts on Ben Johnson so far?
I've seen a couple times this year his creative play calling. Obviously, having DJ Moore throw a touchdown pass to Caleb Williams. Don't see that every year. Don't see that every week. It's pretty uncommon. So that was always exciting to see when your quarterback can get a passing touchdown on the season, or a receiving touchdown on the season. So, what I think really speaks to Ben Johnson's capabilities and his what he's done with this team is twofold. First, being the run game, specifically with the offensive line and bolstering that in the offseason, and it's paid dividends. You go out and sign a guy like Joe Tooney, and you just get really worried that he's a little older. Kansas City let him go and didn't want to pay him. Kansas City's always about 3 steps ahead, but on this one, I think we nailed it in getting that offensive line hole filled. And Tooney's been excellent for Chicago, protecting Caleb. And then also just the culture flip he's been able to do these 8 weeks and in the offseason as well. But people got the Bears got a lot of flack in the offseason for whether it be Caleb missing net throws or you know
Mm.
Johnson just laying into everybody and yelling at him. But I think the guys actually took to it really, really well, and now you're seeing those dividends pay out in that you know the if you've ever seen a post game win in the Chicago Bears locker room, it's electric. It's one of the best, and it gets me fired up every time they do the good, better, best speech. It's just gives you goosebumps. It makes you believe that we're there's a shift in the wind in Chicago.
Was that like pun intended? I mean, I just kind of just Windy City, the whole, yeah,
Absolutely,
that's very
absolutely.
good. Well put, well put. Voldy, so I asked this of you. What are your thoughts on Ben Johnson so far and the job he's done with the Bears?
Just kind of the same sentiments that Ribby threw out there. Of course, just trying to find the right pieces and how they are going to fit the system that he's brought in, but also at the same time, knowing what pieces you have and how you can adjust your system to the players that you do have. Of course, the emergence of Roma Dunze this season has been really interesting to see for them, kind of jumping out as their number one receiver after the year, of course, a year removed when they had, of course, Keenan Allen, that failed experiment as a whole, but just really overall, I mean, DJ Moore, of course, when he's been healthy and in the lineup, he's been definitely very consistent, at least getting the touches to him. And also, last couple of games, the emergence of Colston Loveland has also been something that they've been looking at to at least trying to establish him a little bit more frequently in that tight end, of course, in the tight end pattern too. A lot of young pieces that they do have, just trying to get them established in more reps. Things have been unfortunately turning around here for the Bears as of late and starting to be just a little bit more competitive on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the stats, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Mitch, but I would say that Roman Adunze has overtaken DJ Moore already, wouldn't you say, as wide receiver one?
Yeah, I would say that. And I mean, like, are we surprised because Rome was the receiver Caleb wanted in the same draft class? He was
Right,
tweeting about it. Um, you know, knowing that Caleb's kind of our franchise guy. If that's something that we can help him out with, I think Rome's emerging as that young wide receiver one that we. Not that DJ Moore isn't capable of that, but
right.
I think their connection is way better.
Yeah, and
And
yeah,
I I I don't see a negative in that, right? Having a quarterback wide receiver connection, that's never a bad thing on a roster, no
right.
matter who, what wide receiver position they're in. As long as it works, it works. And I don't think DJ Moore is the type of
Mm-hmm.
character guy to be upset about a being wide receiver 2 on the depth chart for Chicago. As long as the team's winning and the culture's changed, getting flues out of there, making, you know, the culture's always better when the wins are coming in, obviously. And I think DJ Moore would rather be on a winning team than being the number one receiver.
So, so we talked a lot about the positives with this team. What are a couple concerns that you have going forward here about this team? Do you think that they can kind of keep this momentum going throughout the rest of the season here? And is there anything that you're just kind of like, I'm kind of uneasy about this? Anything with defense, offense? What do you got?
Something that's really concerning, and it's built throughout the last 8 weeks, is just injuries on our secondary. We just have had a lot of key positions within the secondary go down, and you can really see that going up against Cincinnati. We allowed them to score 42 points. Like that just can't happen. And I mean, our defense, besides the secondary issues, I think have been really great about getting takeaways. However, we can't be a defense that relies on takeaways. Like, if we're winning games because of the takeaways and solely because of the takeaways, that's not playoff level football. Like, you have to be able to win it on offense and have our defense being fresh and ready to pin our ears back and get after the quarterback on the other side of the ball. and we can't be allowed. Not that Caleb Williams or Monungai or Swift is turning the ball over, but we can't go 3-and-outs. That's that's one of the things sometimes early in the game after we've gone off script, but we haven't hit that fourth quarter mark where Caleb just really turns it on. It's we seem to can't get out of second gear. It seems like.
Voldy, what are your? Do you have any concerns regarding the Bears? What do you got?
I think one thing that we've kind of seen as the season's kind of come along here, I'm just looking at numbers strictly. Of course, we saw anything a couple weeks ago was the defensive side of things. Of course, leading tackler on the defenses, Tremaine Edmonds. He's got 80 tackles, but from that point, there is a steep drop off in a tackling. Of course, the next closest almost has half as many tackles, and that's from Kevin Byard, who's a safety, and then you got Jaquan Brisker, also a safety. The fact that you've got defensive backs in the top 8 as your leading tacklers, I would say, is a little bit interesting just based off of numbers alone. That means that some guys are making plays at the second level on the offensive side of the ball, where you see a lot of pressure from the inside not getting home, and at least allowing a lot of maybe some bigger plays or extended plays too. So if anything, something of note there with the Bears matchup is that some guys are getting through that first level on the offensive side, while the defense has to try and hold stout with at least trying to get limit some of those big plays down the field.
Going into this game against the Vikings, are you? It's at home for the Vikings, a little bit of an advantage. Um, the Vikings have had the Bears number for a couple seasons now. Caleb has, was effective last year at Chicago. He did a good job of, extending those plays, and he ran it well against the Vikings the first game of the season and whatnot. What are your keys for the Bears? Give me a couple things, keys to a Bears win against the Vikings on Sunday. What do you got, Mitch?
I'd say first key, we need to make sure that we keep the pressure on McCarthy because that's really the key to your guys' whole offensive success. If McCarthy is on it, and when he's on it, he's on it. Like I'll give him that. When he can turn it, dial it in, and be 9, he's on fire. He's got the stuff, but it's just getting him to that point. It has proven difficult for the Vikings. So as long as we keep, can get guys home and get him, in his face and make him feel like he's got to throw in a double coverage to Jefferson to just make that 50-50 ball catch. I think that's where we can really take advantage of that. And just also making sure we're doing this little stuff right, like not getting false starts or not being in the neutral zone, not because we've been guilty of that too on both sides of our ball, is defense and offense. We sometimes allow for silly rookie penalties that we shouldn't be allowing. And I think going into Sunday, I think a lot of that is gonna, and I'm sure the Vikings are cleaning it up this week, but I feel
We hope so.
the two things that we need to do, yeah, the two things we need to do is make sure we're not causing or we're not getting penalized, and we're getting to JJ McCarthy because Jefferson. I mean, just last week against the Ravens, it was not good. It was not good.
I agree. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to crap on the Vikings here, but
No, I know. Yeah.
it's just they kind of gave the NFL the game plan to kind of like uprooting McCarthy and being like, you can't you can't make silly mistakes. This isn't Michigan versus Rutgers anymore. This is NFL ball.
You got you make a good point.
So
You do. The main thing I feel like with the whole Jefferson situation, I feel like the Ravens' game plan was to mug him literally, and wasn't called. They got him frustrated. I think, and I'm not trying to crap on the Bears for your for your pleasure here, but the Justin Jefferson, I think is going to have a big game against Chicago, and I think he, being locked up, like he's going to find ways to get open. We're going to find, Addison. I feel like has had a couple of good games now against the Bears, and I think those two could have,
Mhm.
big games. And the question is, are the Bears going to be ready for that? And also running the ball, I think, has been an issue as well for the Vikings. But I agree. I mean, if you get pressure, inexperienced quarterback like McCarthy, he's only played 4 games. This is his 5th start, right? And people are already making their minds up about the kid, and
Mhm.
it's like,
Mhm.
good lord, let the kid play. For goodness sake, let him get some experience. And
Mhm.
it just it's
I
frustrating
was
from the
I was gonna
Vikings side.
say five games into our losing streak, it was Caleb Williams is a terrible quarterback. We should have went with Jaden Daniels. That's all I heard last year.
That's right. See, it all correlates at some point here. So, that's kind of how we, talk about that. But it should be a good game. I think it's going to be a close game. We won't ask you to make a prediction or anything like that. But last time you were on this show, Mitch, we talked about our NFC, who's going to win the NFC North. Now, this is your chance to either, just say, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough to overtake the Lions. And even though the Packers are really sucking right now, which is great for both of us. I mean, for both teams at this point. Uh, are you still sticking with the
Mhm.
Bears winning the NFC North? Or are you saying, you know what, I'm going to take that back. I don't want to get absurd statement. 2025. What do you got?
Sticking with it. NFC North champs, baby.
Ooh.
2025. It's I want to see Voldy go across that ice rink in a speedo
Oh
swimsuit,
my
whatever. I want to
God.
see it.
More on that in a little bit. We'll save that, right, Voldy? We gotta get to
Yeah,
what we
you
get
would.
to. Exactly. We'll get to that in a second. All right. Well, that's your chance, Mitch. All right. We'll see how it pans out. But if it's right, you might get most approved statement. Who knows? We'll see what happens. All right. I think it's that time. It's time to
We'll
go
see.
with some rapid fire of oldie.
All right, so we gotta address the elephant in the room here, Ribby. With the Chicago Bears and their franchise, have not had a 4,000-yard passer in the entirety of their franchise as a whole. Does Caleb Williams, sitting at 2,100 yards this season, does he get to 4,000 by the end of the year?
Yes, he does. This is the year.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Who ends up with more receiving touchdowns by the end of the season? Colston Loveland, DJ Moore, or Caleb Williams?
More receiving touchdowns?
Yes.
More receiving touchdowns. Loveland's got 2. I think DJ Moore's got 1, and then Caleb Williams also has 1 receiving touchdown. So, who ends up with more by the end of the season?
Oh, I probably would have to give it to Loveland. Ben Johnson
Really?
likes his tight ends, and he picked
Okay,
Loveland over Warren. And
of course.
I think DJ Moore is more going to be the yards getting us first down type of guy, because Rome is our big play
Mm-hmm.
receiver. Uh, As much as I'd love to have DJ Moore be that guy, he's just not that for us anymore. And I don't think he's, like I said earlier, I don't think he's upset like that about that. But if it's between Moore and
Right.
Loveland, I think Loveland's going to get more looks in the end zone from Johnson than DJ Moore will in Johnson's offensive scheme. So
Okay. Okay. No, we've seen a few times he's been pretty close. Devin Duvernay in the return game. Does he get a return touchdown this season? If so, is it a kickoff or a punt return?
Those are so hard to get nowadays, especially with the new kickoff rules. So I don't see it happening.
Either
Maybe
one.
next year, Devin
Okay,
Duvernay
interesting.
he unlocks his
Maybe.
Devin Hester vault that's buried way underneath Hallis Hall,
Mm,
but he hasn't gotten the keys yet. He hasn't proven enough yet to get
okay,
those keys. So
gotcha. Okay. Right now, Montez Sweat is at 5.5 sacks on the season. Does he get to double-digit sacks? And if so, where does he finish with sack total this year?
oh, man.
It's gonna take a second.
My gut's telling me he doesn't get to double digits this season. I feel like he's gonna hit that 8 or 9 mark, and
Okay.
he's just not gonna quite get there. Because
Man,
I,
not a
I
lot of
actually
faith in
I
this
made a
team. That
preseason
is
parlay
just
bet.
Yeah, right. Right.
Oh God.
Well,
God. All right.
I parlayed him for 6 1/4,
All right.
so he'll get there. He'll get there.
Yeah, you did.
I don't see him getting double
Interesting.
digits.
Okay. All right. It'll at least cover the spread there. 6-3 right now on the season. Over under. I know you threw out there a little bit of gambling at us. Over under 10.5 wins on the season to finish off.
Gonna have to. If they win. NFC North.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I got to take the over on that. It's going to
Can't
be
bow
tough.
out now,
It's
Mitch.
going to be a lot
Can't
of
bow
close
out
games.
now.
Yeah.
Final question. If the Bears, and
No,
this is a
it's just a
huge
lot of
if the Bears win the NFC North, will you be paying for the Speedo for me to streak in the ice rink?
It's a good point.
Do I get to pick the Speedo no matter what if I'm paying for it?
You know what? If you're paying for it, I'll let you pick it. How about that?
There we go. Then absolutely. I don't. This is an absolute win.
All right, there we go. I like that. I like it. Yeah, nobody's gonna want to see that, unfortunately, except Mitch. Apparently.
Yeah,
Weirdo.
apparently.
You.
Apparently.
We
I don't
bask in
think.
other people's misery. We're Bears fans.
Yeah, we're used to it too. Trust me. If Green Bay plays the way that they've been playing, they ain't gonna amount to much. That's for sure. And Jordan Love has, he might be regressing. We don't know. It all could, fall apart here for Green Bay. So. All right. Well, Mitch, we appreciate you hopping on with us tonight. And, best of luck on Sunday, honestly. It's going to be a fun game to watch. I think it's going to be a close game. And obviously, I know you're taking the Bears. And, quite frankly, I'm going to be a homer. Yeah. And I assume Voldy, you will be too. We'll take the Vikings in a close one.
Oh, yeah.
I think 9 comes out a little bit and plays well. And I think Caleb's going to do the same. And, the Bears are going to be – it's going to be a tough battle. It's going to be a tough battle. So, Mitch, thanks for hopping on.
It's definitely going to come down to the end of the game.
Yeah. I think I really do believe that. Especially, it's probably going to be a field goal. It's going to come down to a field goal. Both teams are going to be vying for that. Vying for that win. They both need it. I mean, honestly, at this point in the season, it's must win from here on out.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, thanks for hopping on, and we'll see what happens on Sunday. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for having me on.
You know it.
Peace.